We've got big issues out there, and if you think it's Tweedledum and Tweedledee now, then you're not paying attention.
Our voting system has created a completely dysfunctional Congress.
Writing your Congress creature does not work.
Two-party duopoly are in bed with the corporations.
Unless you can sign the letter David Koch.
Money trumps a great deal.
Change is difficult in the electoral arena.
The people who are in office and who have power have zero incentive to change the rules.
The way in which the district lines are drawn, it makes for very non-competitive elections.
Why change the game if you know how to win every time?
Republicans and Democrats decide to split the spoils.
A basic perversion of democracy.
What candidates hate the most is uncertainty.
So there's clever ways that political operatives have found that they can draw district lines.
And because the incumbent also has a huge financial advantage.
People feel that their vote doesn't matter or their vote doesn't count.
They feel like the conclusion has already been determined for them.
Most people running for public office only want to turn out the people they know will vote for them.
Where the idea of any fair voting system is that you're reflecting the population.
There are a lot of hurdles we put before the voters in terms of their participation.
I think the two-party system is part of the problem.
There are choices to be made in elections.
And the people in power have the power to change the rules, and they don't.
Voting is really fundamental.
If you have a fair, open system, that you're going to get more diverse viewpoints elected.
And we need to be paying attention to that if we care about the future of our country and the future of the globe.
The design of a broken system is about election reform. It's an important topic that is often overlooked. Elections are the basis of our democracy. A system based on gerrymandering, big money in politics, and a two-party system does not accurately reflect the American public at large. The current system is set up in a way that preserves the status quo and prevents meaningful change from taking place. Instead of tackling issues, politicians are attacking their re-election, and this is not what they were elected to do. We've taken this project on the road, talking to analysts, politicians, and anybody who's relevant to the topic to speak about the consequences of not reforming our election system. One such trip took us to New Hampshire, where we followed a local activist group called New Hampshire Rebellion. While we were there, we spoke with Dr. Lawrence Lessig, a Harvard professor who led the march through the snow-battered winter streets of New Hampshire in January, and this is what he had to say.
So I think there's a long list of reforms American democracy needs. But the question is which order we should take in the stages towards reform. And I believe we've got to change the way we fund elections first. And once we do that, a whole bunch of other issues will become easier. We will never have true climate change legislation in the United States until we change the way we fund elections. We'll never have real healthcare reform that changes fundamentally the way in which we deliver healthcare in this country until we change the way we fund elections. You won't get Wall Street reform that makes the banks responsible again. You won't get a simpler tax system. You won't have the capacity to address the debt until you change the way in which we fund elections. This is the first issue if we're going to address any of those other important issues. And that's the critical thing Americans need to recognize.
Fixing our election system is the gateway to fixing the rest of our country's problems, and with your help, we can bring attention to this topic. We want to continue our effort in answering the vital question, what is wrong with America's governance? But more importantly, we want to bring you, the viewer, an array of possible solutions thought up from leading analysts around the country and perhaps the world in hopes of reshaping what should be not only the greatest country in the world, but the greatest democracy in the world. I'm John Amoruso with The Design of a Broken System, saying thank you for your support, and with your help, we can make a film that will shape things to come in our political dialogue.